This is another question by someone. And the question is, how do I find peace when the river is raging? That's very well put. It's, in a nutshell, is a powerful question. The answer is simple, but it's hard to put into practice, and it does take practice. One author, and I'm not sure who it is now, but he referred to our minds as being an empty room. It's empty to begin with. And we put things in this room. For example, furniture. You might put a sofa, and you might put chairs and tables and different things in the room. Well, in our minds, the things we put in our room are our thoughts, beliefs, opinions. The thoughts that we have in our mind, and some thoughts we keep in our mind, some we discard. But it's important to remember that the things that we put in our mind are not really us. It's things we put in our mind, and this is very hard to grasp, I think, because often the thought is, well, if I think it, it's a fact, it's reality, it's why I'm thinking it. No, it isn't. That's why the person next to you can look at the same situation you're dealing with and have different feelings about it completely. You may be bothered by something, and the person next to you is in the same situation. It's happening to them too, and they're not bothered by it. Now, why is that? It's the thoughts that are in that room. Now, the reason I refer to the thoughts being in a room, and that example that this author came up with is a good one, is because just like the furniture in your house, that you can choose to remove the sofa, put a different one in. You can choose to replace the TV, throw it out entirely. You can do that with thoughts too. Thoughts are not you. Thoughts are not you. They're thoughts. You can choose to accept them, dwell on them, embrace them. You can choose to discard them. You can choose to discount them. And this is difficult to grasp because, as I say, most of the time we think of our thoughts as reality. Our feelings are real. Our feelings are the result of our thoughts. The thoughts come and go. We have thoughts that come. You picture a stream where the water just endlessly flows. Thoughts endlessly come and they go. Some are good thoughts, some are horrible thoughts. Some thoughts we'd be ashamed of. Some thoughts we're proud of. Some thoughts are fearful. Some thoughts are happy. We can latch on to a thought and dwell on it. And whatever we choose to dwell on will affect our feelings. So it's important to work on that. What's in our mind, and much in terms of meditation, which is gaining more popularity, and psychotherapy in this day and age is aimed at emptying our mind, our thoughts, clearing our mind, focusing on things like breathing and other things, relaxation. Why are they doing that? They're doing that to get us away from dwelling on thoughts. And as much as possible, and I don't think it's completely possible, but as much as it's possible, to empty our mind of thoughts. And what happens when that happens, when we can do that? We get calmer. We feel more rested. We feel more energetic. We feel more peaceful. And why is that? Because we've chosen for a while during, for example, meditation. And prayer can do the same thing. Prayer is a form of meditation, if you think about it, where we're setting time aside to clear our mind of the things that bother us. So, to answer the question, finding peace when the river is raging, it's important to remember that thoughts create our world, and we can allow thoughts to come and go. Don't label things as good or bad and judge them. And if we just relax and let them go, you'll find more peace. And the other thing to remember is that you are you. You are not the things that are happening around you. You're not the things that are happening to other people. We might place a judgment on those things. We might worry about what's happening to someone else, or what's happening to a spouse or a significant other or a child, friends, neighbors, the world. We might worry and be concerned about those things, but they're not us. You have to separate what's happening around you from you. For example, if you were to go to a New York subway and you were to wait for a subway train, and then pause for a moment to observe everything that's going on around you, the thousands of people that are coming and going, and the sound of sirens in the background, and people yelling, and trains stopping, and trains taking off, and maybe it's thundering and lightning, it's storming, and the wind is blowing, and so many things are happening. There's construction going on. But as you stand there, those things, they are all happening, but they're happening around you. They're not part of you. And we can choose to be bothered by those things, the crowds and the rushing and the to and fro. Or we can choose to be peaceful and content in the middle of all of the turmoil and the turbulence. These things take practice, because we can get so absorbed in, say, the subway example, with the people rushing in to and fro, and we feel we need to hurry too because they're hurrying, and we want to get a seat on the subway and so on. But those things are happening around us. So finding peace when the river is raging, it's important to remember that you are not the river. The river is raging, the white water is there. It has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with us. The river is raging because that's what it does. It's happening. Now we might at times, of course, have to figure out how to deal with things that are happening around us. I'm not suggesting that we pretend like there's nothing there and we go into a denial. What I'm talking about is, it's important. The peace comes from realizing that we may have to be proactive and make decisions and so on and deal with some of these things. And oftentimes we don't have to deal with it at all. It's just happening. But it's important to remember that those things are not us. We may have to do something. If we want to cross the river, we may have to figure out how to cross the river with the water raging. But the water is not us. The raging is not us. The rocks in the river that's causing the white water waves is not us. And the more we can practice that, realizing that our inner peace and inner quiet is there, even though all of this stuff is happening around us, gives us more energy. It helps us focus on who we really are and what we really want to do. And yes, we can be content with the river raging around us, with the people bustling around us. It takes practice, and it takes a different set of thoughts, as I said about what I started out about thoughts in a room. Place those thoughts in your room. that you inside, be aware of the inner peace that's there. I suspect right now, as you think about the things you have to deal with, that you're also aware deep down inside there's an inner peace. There's something down inside you that's there that really is not affected by everything going on around you. But we need to bring that up more to the surface and bring it more into our awareness. That's where peace comes. So try those things and see if they don't make a difference in your life.